What is up, guys? I'm glad you tuned back in. This is part 3 of the Street Bob build for Seth in our series. Today we are going to be doing the Thunderheader, which I know Seth is extremely happy about because it is going to change the entire look of this bike and of course the sound. You can't beat a Thunderheader sound in my opinion. It's crisp. So when it comes to installing your exhaust, they're fairly simple. We will have to take off the heat shields on the stock exhaust. Then we're going to have to take off the stock mount for this exhaust, the stock slip-ons, and then of course the stock headers to finish, and we'll throw on our new pipe. Again, not complicated, but there's just a lot to it. So let's do it. To take off your exhaust, you will have to adjust or remove your pegs. So essentially you'll just come down here, loosen this up. I'm hoping I can just swing this one out of the way without pulling it all the way off, but we'll see. If I got to pull it off, it's not a big deal. So I went ahead and only took off one of the bolts because I'm just going to let it hang like this. I think that should be enough room to get our exhaust in and out. Let's go ahead and get these heat shields off. Now that we have the heat shields removed, we're going to go ahead and take off the slip-ons. There's 2 bolts up on the top and 2 bolts right down in here. Easy to find, they're just an Allen key, and we're going to pop that off. And then we will also use a 3/4, I believe, actually, let me check real quick, guys. 9/16, and we're going to pull off the exhaust clamp here, pop these suckers off. Now that these are loose and I already took the bolts that are holding in the slip-ons here, we're going to go ahead and slide this off. All right, slip-ons are off. Now we're just going to go ahead and take off the bracket here and then pull the headers. Might be a little dark in there, but as you guys can see, if you use a socket with a little swivel on the end of it, you'll be able to get in there and pull off these nuts that are holding in your headers. So this front nut here does seem a little difficult to get to. I thought we were going to have to remove this, but we could actually get in there with that same swivel socket and it'll get right in there, and these shouldn't be that tight. To get in there and pop that off. Okay, so when you're taking off your headers, you do have some sensors that are on the front and rear. In our case, it's 11/16, and when you pop them off, make sure you don't use a lot of force. You don't want to crinkle those up because then you got to buy new ones. Anytime you change your exhaust, always replace your exhaust gaskets. I think anybody will tell you that you should no matter what, but I'm going to say it as well. Even if you only have 4,000 miles and it looks pretty good, looks pretty new, you want to replace that. They're only like 10 bucks, so why wouldn't you? And just make sure when you do replace it, you reach back in there and make sure the area where you're going to put your exhaust back in, your headers, is nice and clean so you're not going to have any debris causing a leak later on. I'm putting some Loctite on these because of course we don't want them coming loose. The new bracket mounts up right where the old bracket was, so we'll just reuse the hardware. I'll just tighten this sucker on. Made in the USA, baby. A little bit of anti-seize on here because we don't want these seizing up if we ever have to take them off. All right, so now that we got the header on, they're on there loosely. I didn't video that because I needed a little extra hand from the camera lady, but we got those in, so it's going to sit there loosely right now. What we're going to go ahead and do is take the exhaust clamp and we're going to slide that on first because you don't want to try to put this on afterwards. It won't work. So we'll put the exhaust clamp on, and then we're going to grab the best piece, the cannon on the back, right? And we're going to go ahead and slide this guy right over the top of that. All right, once you get a slip on there, you're going to push it back to about where our mount is. You'll take the provided bolt, washer, and nut, and we're going to install this. You take the bolt, slides right in. And you're just going to kind of separate this, and that's why it's important to keep it loose so you can pull it apart. And then we're going to put the washer and the lock nut on the back here. So ours was a little interesting. It doesn't hold in place down here, and then we also don't have anything that can fit in there to hold it, so we're just going to use a flathead to lock up against the wall there, and that should do the trick.
Actually is working. Dang, Seth.
All right, guys, so here we are. We got everything buttoned down. Yes, that was kind of a pain in the butt. We had a little bit of struggles here and there, but we got it on there. The biggest thing was this back nut. It goes into a slot, but it didn't actually fit properly to where we could tighten it down. So we had to kind of jimmy some stuff in there, but we figured it out. The next part is to go ahead and put on the heat shields to finish this up. So I went ahead and I already ran these. They won't be like this, and you have to put them in yourself. Once they get going though, it'll be a cinch. There we go. It's all in. So now I just gotta tighten them down. And as a bonus for you guys, take note of how you're gonna install these when you put them in, where you wanna be screwing from. So if you want the front, the back, wherever. I chose to do it this way because to me it's out of the way, out of sight, and I like that. I figured the trick out, Seth. That's what happened. All right, all right. No. Well. Like I said, I love a Thunderheader, but damn, you gotta work to put them on. I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro to this video on the ground, and I'm only doing that because I don't know if I can get back up. So remember to put the bike back together the way you had it. So anyway, that was part 3. We'll see you guys on the next one.